I want to backtrack on something I used to say on this show. We used to talk about the death of the ego. I had to really sit and think about this. Fuck that. Live in your ego. Let your ego shine. Don't nobody tell the lion with the biggest mane, hey man, humble yourself. Don't nobody tell the peacock with the biggest, brightest feathers, hey man, humble down a little bit, kill your ego. No. Thrive in your ego, because that's who you are.
Nah,
and I'm not talking about
the ego is separated.
No, listen, I'm gonna break it down. You are the ego. It's you. This is a part of you. To get rid of the ego, you need to get rid of the body. You need to get rid of your fucking life, because that's all you are.
Nah,
like Kali said, we playing characters, but you are though. You're the main character. Really think, who are you for real?
Nah, the ego can have you delusional. The ego can have you not seeing yourself for who you are. The ego can have you not with zero self-awareness about things that you're doing. The ego is not
ego death.
People just be battling between egos. The ego can have you. Ego, I don't know. That's a dangerous thing. That's a dangerous game.
To kill your ego is an act of your ego. To kill your ego is like running away from your shadow and thinking you can get away. You're one and the same.
When you say that,
it's literally an act of ego to kill your ego.
That's crazy.
How do you get away from your shadow?
You're gonna always have it to a certain degree.
Exactly, and you should be delusional. You should be delusional positively. People should hear your dreams and go, "Man, this nigga crazy, delusional as fuck." Boom, you wake up, you're Michael Jackson.
It said an ego death is when your sense of who you think you are breaks down and you suddenly see yourself, your life, and the world without the filters, pride, defenses, or identities you usually hide behind. So the ego is just somebody the ego ain't really you. Really is somebody you just projecting and keeping away from a lot of your things that you don't want people to
see. Using it as a brick
Yeah,
wall
like,
or a buffer.
Nah, read that
really
again. It says who you think
ego,
you are.
No, ego death. Raw definition. Ego death is that moment when life humbles you so hard that the lies you tell yourself don't work anymore. Your excuses stop making sense. Your old identity falls apart. You see your flaws clearly. You realize you're not as in control as you thought. It's a collapse of the fake self you built to survive, impress people, or protect your wounds.
I just said you're not in control. Once you realize you're not in control, life gets greater. Listen, run the footage back. I said you're not in control. Once you realize that, and then it says who you think you are. You are who you think you are, because you got to think you are that before you become that. The people who wait for the results to think that they're that, they never become that.
That's true too.
You don't wait till you're the greatest to think I'm the greatest. No, nigga, when I come out here, I think I'm the greatest and I'm going to prove I'm the greatest. So once I prove I'm the greatest, then I get the confirmation. But if I wait for the confirmation, nigga, I'm never the greatest.
I think confidence in a false sense of self can be separated, but it also says why ego death is powerful, because after the ego dies, you start rebuilding you. More self-awareness, less insecurity, less fear of judgment, more peace, stronger intuition, deeper connection with people. It's basically a reset that forces you to level up.
See, to rebuild you is to have a thought that who you are is wrong. Life is what you make it. So whoever you are right now, that's exactly who you want it to be.
Not always. It ain't always. It ain't. I don't think it's always like that. The ego can have you crashing out over stupid shit. The ego can have you in countless confrontations or countless situations that could have been prevented, let alone if you would have had more respect instead of operating your ego. The ego could have me bumping you on accident, apologizing, you still tripping over it. You know what I'm saying?
Is that your ego, or is that you not choosing the right emotion?
No, that's your ego, nigga.
But I'm saying, what feeds the ego?
Why you saying,
emotion.
You saying choosing? No, you just sat here and said, what you feel is what you thinking. So you thought you should have tripped on that. Like you chose to. You chose that thought instead of just accepting, like, okay, your apology or whatever, and moved on with your day. But your ego made you crash out because you felt like
is what you feel what you think.
Because that's an insecurity now. Because you felt like you needed to be doing something after somebody, because now in your mind you feel disrespected, or you feel I need to prove something, even though this person led with respect or did something on accident. So I just think,
what comes first, the thought or the emotion?
The thought.
Right. So somebody bump you, you got two thoughts.
No, you chose.
And you chose which one to react by.
Bro, that matters. Doesn't matter. The ego is not good, bro.
The ego is good. Kobe had an ego. That's why he was Kobe.
I think you need an ego because to a certain degree, because it does keep you maybe feeling like I'm elevated above some of this stuff. So I wouldn't act in this way, or I wouldn't do these things, or I wouldn't hang out with these people, because to a certain degree, my ego is big enough to say I won't stoop that low. But on the other end, it could turn you into somebody who does things in the wrong way or reacts too fast or, you know, whatever the case is, or just doesn't really want to compromise or give in. I feel like that's a big part of the ego is giving in.
A person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. So if you don't have high self-esteem and you don't view yourself as self-importance, what are you viewing yourself? What's the opposite of that?
So that's what I'm saying. Why I think it's okay to have it, because you do have to feel like you are important enough to not act a certain way. But it is a slippery slope where it's like you can have too much ego, where you think you think you're too important. Whereas like he said, like, oh, niggas ain't gonna bump me. How dare a nigga do that? So let me turn around and get with bro. Whereas then maybe if you lowered your ego in that moment, it's like, oh, it was just an accident. It's not always about you. That's where ego can go to the bad part to me.
See, is that lowering your ego for real, or is that you being logical?
Could be that.
Going, hey, he bumped me. That was an accident. He apologized. I should probably move on. I'm being illogical. I'm like, fuck that, nigga. I don't give a fuck, nigga. You bumped me, nigga. It's up.
That's your ego.
Is that my ego?
That is your ego. What would make you react that way?
Yeah, what would be powering that? It would have to be the ego.
That would be my insecurity of me having to prove something.
No, that's the ego.
That's the ego. Because you like this. I'm a real ass nigga. Ain't nobody finna do whatever, right? And just get away with it. So that's your ego saying, if a nigga bumped me, even if he didn't mean it, he didn't see me, whatever, I cannot let that happen to me. That's the ego part. So this is why I'm reacting this way, because he did something to my self-importance, pretty much. Something to me that because I deem myself this important, I cannot have. So I gotta prove
this can't be true. Right. So I can't let that be that. Yeah. A lot of niggas' egos got their ass on that level 4 for 300-something years.
Because I think it might be the opposite. I just think maybe the way they taught us about ego was wrong. Because if my ego tells me, hey, I'm of this self-importance, I got this much self-esteem, you bumping me and apologizing is not even gonna affect me. It's the insecurity of, I don't really think I'm this, so now I'm gonna react illogically and emotionally to prove I'm this, because I don't really believe I'm that, which is why I'm tripping in the first place. Because if I really thought I was that, it would be nothing for me to prove.
I can't. Yeah, but ego,
you know what I'm saying? Like, if I know I'm that, why do I gotta prove it? If I'm Mike Tyson, I know I can knock you the fuck out. What's the point of me knocking you the fuck out?
See, so that's the sweet spot of ego.
That means he's not operating in ego.
Exactly. That's the sweet spot of it, though, of knowing I am what I am. So I'm not gonna do it, but you still have that gray area where you're gonna go do it.
No, but you're seeing clear now, though. That means you're not operating the ego. The ego is gonna make you prove something. The ego is gonna have a motherfucker sit here dead to rights that you wrong about something, and you won't admit that you wrong because you're gonna operate in the ego.
I think that might be a lack of ego.
That's not lack. If you're wrong about
that,
something,
might be a lack of ego.
If I tell you 2 + 2 is 4, you still arguing that it's not. You're operating from your ego because you don't want to be wrong.
If I'm Kobe Bryant and a 6th grader comes say I could beat you, do I really need to get up and go prove that you can't?
6th grader.
See, so this is what I'm saying.
I think my lack of ego would get up and let me go prove to this 6th grader that I'm better than him. Why? Because my ego ain't really where I portraying that shit to be. That's not lack.
I mean, if you go play the 6th grader, your ego is making you do that.
I don't know. I think it's the opposite.
It's not.
Hey, everything they taught us was wrong, cuz. They said up was up. It's really, that's all I'm saying. This why niggas be failures. They tell you kill your ego. I think I'm on to something, cuz.
I think ego's a spectrum. So it's like, it falls in that spectrum of what you're speaking of is ego more on a positive side of, I'm Mike Tyson or I'm Kobe Bryant. If a kid or if I'm Mike Tyson, if somebody bumping into me, I know what I could do to him. So that is me knowing that I'm this equipped, I'm this important, et cetera, et cetera. So it shouldn't even matter because I know I could really do him dirty.
So Mike Tyson, also, hold on.
On that other end of the spectrum of ego is, I'm Mike Tyson, a nigga bumped me. How dare a nigga bump me? He got to go night-night now. So that's why I'm saying it's a spectrum, because in both instances, your ego is the reason why you either do something or you don't do something. If that makes sense.
Isn't the ego not? Because sometimes,
in his instance, he has so much ego that he won't stoop that low.
If I'm not operating from the ego, I could be logical about it. Like, some things necessarily just need to happen. Not necessarily from my ego. This is just has to be done in the course of action. But Mike Tyson is the same person that said he was scared before he got in the ring before every fight. So what part of the ego, then how big was his ego then?
I mean, but I think he still got an ego.
I'm asking though, but y'all said like this is what made Mike Tyson because he had a big ego. But he said he was scared before he got in every fight until he got in the ring.
I think strapping up for battle is a different conversation. It's like anybody's getting pre-fight jitters, or if they finna get off the tank and go fucking shoot. You know, it's like you're gonna get that for sure. But then what the ego is what comes after that. Like, damn, I did this. I was scared. I was nervous. I built this self-confidence by doing exactly what I said I was gonna do. Now I have the right to have the ego. The reason why I'm saying it's a spectrum is because, again, his point is that my ego is so high that I would never do that, and that could definitely be one of the side of the spectrum. But your side of it is like, nigga, I will stoop that low because who the fuck do you think you are? So it's a spectrum, and it all depends on the person.
But just because you confident doesn't mean you operating in the ego. Yes, I can feel like I'm the best at something. I can do this, and that. But like you said, okay. If you just sat here and said everybody can't be a rap star and everything else, so what would that be considered? They lowering their ego?
No, but by the definition of what ego actually is, how is that not operating your ego?
What, me being confident?
Yes. Me having a high self-esteem, which is synonymous with high confidence. That is ego.
I should feel good about myself, but for most people, they have a sense of false confidence, where they act like they're that confident and they're really not because they're hiding behind the ego.
So they don't really have an ego then.
No, yes,
that's
they
a
do.
false ego.
No, they're the ego
That's a false ego.
It's an ego.
No, false.
They're using the ego to hide the insecurities. So yes, the ego.
It's false.
No, it's making more sense to me.
See what I'm saying?
No, because this is what I'm saying. No, because
because
you can scream at the top of the mountain that you're confident doesn't mean you're actually confident. Now, if I'm a person that, like you said, I work out, I do X, Y, and Z to build this confidence, it's not the ego operating.
So that's an ego.
I know how much work I put in.
Right, that's your ego.
I know.
That is ego. It's not high self-esteem.
That's not an ego.
Yes, it is. That's the definition of ego.
It's knowing I'm good at something.
Bro.
If I can read good, it's not my ego.
A person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance, the only way you know that is by what? All the work you're putting in, which gives you the confidence to bask in that. Somebody hiding behind a false ego, which they don't really believe that, now they trying to prove themselves.
But they're operating in their ego.
That's what I'm saying. They're not.
He's saying it's not because it's not truly who they are. So that is the part that I can agree with. That is fake because an ego is your sense of self, importance, and whatever else is said.
Yeah, your high self-esteem.
Yeah, self-esteem. So if you're only acting a way because you don't feel, I guess, up to par with that, then is that really your ego?
But he just said you had to be this way before you became that way.
You had to think it.
So what are you doing?
You had to think you're that.
If you're not that yet, if whatever the case was, then you're still having a false sense of self at that point. You're not able to see yourself the way other people are seeing you. The same way they tell you these people fake it till they make it or do certain things and operate in these ways. They still have a false sense of self right now. But you can still allow yourself to be confident and be in something without necessarily
See, I disagree.
And is it false if you're trying to get there?
That's what I mean. If you're working on getting there, it's not false. It's a difference between you pretending that, but you're not putting in the work to get there.
Okay. So why can't these people that's 300 pounds and they feel like they what they are, and you bash them?
What is that? What is what they are?
When we see women on here all the time say, I can get any man I want, I can do X, Y, and Z. What is that? Their ego shouldn't be big?
That's a false ego, though, because they don't really believe that.
No,
they don't really believe that.
How do you know they don't believe it?
That's true.
Nah, they don't believe it.
Might believe
that's their ego. That's their self-esteem, right?
They don't believe it. That's
false ego. Why
false
don't they believe it? Because you don't believe it?
No, listen, you can lie to the world, but you can't lie to yourself. How many videos we see of them very same women
Lizzo, perfect example,
breaking down, or their actions doing the opposite? If you were so confident in being fat, why your ass on Ozempic trying to lose weight now? I thought that was that. No, you didn't. That was false. The real ego is you now. Coming out, showing the workout body, the workout. That's what you really wanted to be. But you had to deflect and you had to act like that was good because that was you.
Yeah, I think.
Why is that ego though? That means I don't.
That's a false ego.
It's a false ego. It's not
the real ego is when you lose weight and now you really popping that shit the way you wanted to.
But if you're not, if you're trying to think yourself a certain way or work your way into a position, you're not there yet. Why wouldn't that be a false ego? If you're not this yet, that is a false ego in under your definition.
No,
if somebody says, like they say, okay, you see a kid that might want to grow up to be something, say, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be that. If they're working and grinding to become that and they're not there yet, what makes them not be operating out of that then?
They have to believe they're going to become that. That is a difference than pretending you're that, but never really working to get there.
A lot of people thought
you got to believe
a lot of people
you're going to be that before you get
right
there.
now believe that they're going to be the next motherfucking rap star, the next something. A lot of people believe that. So what are they? So that's a false sense of self for them then?
No. You have the right to believe whatever you want, but
think,
nobody who
so
made
my whole point is what's different from the 300
that's not correlating
if she feels,
what we're talking about.
But why is it false? If the same fat girl gets 100 DMs, what makes you think she don't really believe she can get any nigga she wants?
Easy, because the nigga she want ain't DMing her. That's how. All the niggas that's DMing her is niggas she don't want. The one that she claiming she could get, it's been 25 years on planet Earth since she was 18 and she still ain't got him. Now that's delusion.
Okay.
Y'all let us know in the comments, man.
This is an interesting convo.
Because that's all I'm saying is everything they taught us was a lie. So why not question that? They told us ego was bad. Why though? We never really sat down and looked at the definition of what an ego is and why is that bad?
And in that instance, like I would say ego is more like a nigga who will be operating out of his ego if a nigga went to the gym for like 3 days and then he started talking shit about niggas that's not in the gym. I feel like people who are really working towards something aren't necessarily
ego though.
I feel like, because what you're saying, like when you are trying to think that you're something already and work towards that, I feel like you're way more humble and you understand the steps you have to take where you're not getting ahead of yourself. You're in that sweet spot on the spectrum where it's like, I have enough self-importance and self-esteem to better myself, but I also understand that my shit stink and I'm not all the way there yet. So you have that middle spot of where like, I have that importance. I understand I'm somebody, but I'm not necessarily somebody I want to be. So let me keep grinding. I think that's where it is.
When you are heartbroken,
so you gotta have some ego.
When you are heartbroken, when men try to go talk to people that's fear of rejection, you fear of criticism, what do you think is getting crushed? Your ego. That's what's getting crushed. It's not nothing else because nothing else really happened. Only thing is you got rejected. And if you was really confident in yourself without the ego operating, it doesn't bother you. You just go on about your day like nothing happened. For the most people, they fear rejection. They fear to do something else because they're operating in their ego. If they seen the world through a clear lens without putting prejudgments or certain things on that or certain expectations, that's what's shutting you down.
I think that's false ego. I don't think no one can. If you have a real ego, you have a real sense of self-importance, high self-esteem, who could come crush that? Unless you don't believe that's what you are. If I'm a millionaire, I'm a real millionaire, and somebody come by and say, you ain't no millionaire, is my ego crushed? No, bitch, I know I'm a millionaire. You can't come tell me I'm not, and I really am. I really got the millions right here.
There's got to be a word.
So, you know what I'm saying? It's like the people that don't believe it, that's how you crushing my ego. Because I want to be that. I want to believe it, but deep down, I know I'm not. So when you say it, that triggers me.
How many people have you seen that, I ain't going to say have you seen, you can see it all the time. People be having money and all that. And a bitch can go somewhere and say something crazy, call him broke. Now the nigga want to pull everything out his pocket, show how much money he got, and not even saying that. Whether he's showing his credit, whether he's showing anything, once you prove that, you're operating out of your ego, regardless of how much.
He don't have a real ego.
Regardless how much money he got. He has an ego.
No,
his ego is getting attacked.
No.
And now he feels like I have to prove something.
He doesn't have a real sense of high self-esteem because he's trying to prove something to somebody that he got more than.
That's the ego.
Who are you? No, that's the lack of ego. If you didn't operate the ego,
you have nothing to prove.
That's
like
the
you
lack
just
of,
said,
that's the
Mike
lack
Tyson
of ego.
doesn't have to prove. He have to knock somebody out.
That's the lack of
Kobe
ego.
doesn't have to prove to a sixth grader because I know I would fuck.
But that's the lack of ego because I don't gotta prove shit.
Hold on, is ego only a negative thing or is it a positive thing as well? Because what you're saying is making it a positive thing. What we're saying to a certain degree is making it a negative thing.
There's a negative and a positive to it. But what my definition, and not even just mine, what I just read, somebody that does what he's saying does not really have a high self-esteem of themselves. Because who are you for me to prove something to if I know and believe deep down in my soul that's who I am? You can say whatever the fuck you want. I'm not going out of my way to prove nothing to you. Why would I prove to a broke bitch I got money if I got money?
But
so who am I trying to prove?
Though, like people do it all the time.
I know they do it, but what I'm saying is they don't really have the ego. That be the niggas who get the money and they only identify with the money. They don't have nothing else. If they lose the money, they're not who they are with the money. A nigga who really got high self-esteem, high confidence, he knows who he is. He's him with or without the money. The money just gonna enhance it. It's like a cornball with money, nigga. You still a fucking cornball. I'm cool with or without the money, nigga. The money's just gonna make me cooler because now I can buy cooler shit and do cooler shit. But I was cool without it too, though.
It sound good.
Y'all let me know in the comments, man. Question everything.